To bring the stage director, Danny Boyle. Here's questions from the audience. Don't be shy, guys. There you are. Go ahead.
Another terrific Danny Boyle film. I wanted to ask you, how do you go about picking your projects? They're all very, very different, and you always bring something brilliant to them. But how do you go about picking this project, for example?
I first approached Aaron Ralston about this in 2006 because I heard the story in 2003 and I read his book, but he didn't want to make it in this way then. He wanted to make something more documentary-like, more like Touching the Void, with interviews but I always, when I heard about the story and then when I read about it, I'd always imagined it as a kind of immersive first-person experience, that we enter the canyon with him and then we don't leave until he does what he has to do to actually get out. And I always thought that's the only way it will ever work, because I don't think it's possible to watch it in a way unless you feel like you're going through the experience as well. So we always try to make it as intense as possible, really, and therefore something that is unwatchable, because he cuts his arm off and it actually took him 44 minutes, and if you're going to represent that in any kind of truthful way at all, it's normally unwatchable, except unless you either made it as a horror movie, which obviously is not right, or you actually made it something that you began to feel that maybe you could do it as well. Because that was my belief in the project always, that although people said at a distance, whoa, I could never do that, I always feel we all could do it, because we all would do it, and it's a story that actually isn't about superhero, it's actually about all of us in a way. That was always my take on it, hence the crowds at the end, and that he's swimming back to us, having sort of despised us at the beginning, kind of fleeing from the crowd, and what Joe Simpson calls the living room of anxiety that climbers, put away when they climb, and so that was always the feeling. And just in terms of choosing projects, you just have to follow your nose really, and follow your heart, or whatever the expression is, to what interests you, not what anybody else tells you is. And sometimes they work. I did a film called Sunshine, which I love, and nobody went to see it. Hardly anybody went to see it. There's an unrepresentative selection of humanity here. Hardly anybody went to see it. And then there's nothing you can do to make people go and see that movie. And then you make Slumdog Millionaire, and there's nothing you can do that will stop people going to watch the movie. So it's bizarre, isn't it?
Another question right up here in the front. So the question is, did Aaron really have a camera down there with him? And was it true to what was recorded?
Yeah, what's extraordinary about the camera is that it was 2003, which is 3 years before YouTube took off. Now you just accept a camera because everybody posts stuff on YouTube. It's a major form of communication amongst us all in different ways. But yeah, it was 2003, and he recorded everything. He took a camera everywhere with him, both a stills camera and it's the actual camera that you see on there, Canon Allura it's called, if you're interested, the tech geeks if you're interested. It's all accurate, all that, and he took pictures. At the end when he takes a picture of his hand left in the rock, if you did a fiction, you'd never believe that. You'd just go, that's ridiculous. But I think you all knew that it must be true, because otherwise we wouldn't have to cheat to do it, And he did do that, and we've got the photograph. In fact, I think the photograph's in his book, the actual photograph he took at that moment. So yes, he did he hasn't shown many people the video messages because he feels they're very private. We were very lucky, he did show them to myself, Christian, Simon, the writer, and James. And they're extraordinary because I was expecting, especially as he hadn't shown them to anyone, for them to be very abject and very distressing. They're not at all. They're incredibly controlled. And of course you realise, as you watch them, what he's doing is he's trying to leave a good impression, because he knows, and you can see in his eyes, he knows he's going to die. And he doesn't want his mom seeing him, abject. And So they're not moving at all, except deep down they're really moving. A lot of what James says is verbatim, what he actually did say. And there's certain expressions that even a fantastic writer like Simon Beaufoy would never write, because a guy the things he says are so formal. Mom, Dad, I really haven't appreciated all the good times we've had together. It's really moving having James do that kind of stuff, So a lot of it is, we flex the truth at various moments, and we always told Aaron we would do that, but that we would not break the truth. So we flex it at various moments. Like he did go climbing with a couple of girls at the beginning, but they didn't swim in a pool. But we put a pool in because we wanted water at the front and at the end because it's what he likes and all those kind of things. And it makes the memory of the girls even more painful for him. And James's extraordinary message, his talk show host, that sort of wasn't. Aaron literally didn't do that, but there are hints in what was going on in his mind that it was something he could easily do. And he did go back over the tapes while he was in the canyon and erased bits of them that he thought didn't quite work, is how he puts it. What he was going through, God only knows, the thought process as you sit there for stand there for 127 hours. So yeah, that was